What is up, guys? Welcome back to another video. I've got some awesome stuff planned for you guys. I'm really excited about this one. I wanted to bring the channel back strong, and so with this video I'm introducing my new series on hybrid training. This is going to be a multiple part YouTube series. The goal from this series is for you to be able to watch each video in order, and by the end of it create your own hybrid program so you can go on and crush your own goals. Throughout the series you're going to be able to follow along with me on my workouts, and I'm going to share exactly how I build a hybrid program for whatever distance or meet you're training for. With that said, I've got a run to go do this morning. It's 90 minutes to 2 hours, depending on how I feel. So I'm gonna go out and do that. It's beautiful, 50 degrees this morning, and we will get more into the details of the series. Now, you might be wondering, why hybrid training, Justin? We're gonna get into the details of hybrid training later in the video, what it is, how it differs from other training methods. But I'd like to address this question first. Why should you even care what makes hybrid training a good training method? I can't speak to everybody, but for me, I deadlifted 500 pounds this Monday, and now it's Saturday, and I'm out for a 2-hour run. Those aren't impressive numbers in themselves. A powerlifter at my body weight deadlifts a lot more. An endurance runner, not at my body weight, but I run a lot more. I know that for a fact because I used to be solely a distance runner when I ran in high school. For me, nothing quite compares to the joy and challenge of lifting heavy weights, being muscular, being strong. I can't get that from any cardio. Likewise, nothing can replace the bliss of these weekend long runs or the feeling of running a fast mile or finishing a long threshold workout. I want a program that's going to let me be strong, be muscular, and still challenge myself out on the road, the track, and the trails. If I only ran, sure, I'd be fast and could run far, but I wouldn't be near as strong or muscular as I am now, which I enjoy from a challenge perspective, from a values perspective, and from just a general health perspective. However, if I only powerlifted, sure, I'd be strong and muscular, but I'd also get winded going up a flight of stairs. That being said, I'm training currently for a powerlifting meet in 4 weeks, and then 2024 is gonna be a year of strength and ultra marathons. So throughout the rest of the series, you're gonna be learning exactly how to put together a program for yourself, for your hybrid goals, and you're gonna follow along and see how I structure my training and what it looks like on a day-to-day basis. And ultimately, you guys can follow along. We'll learn together, grow together, and build this awesome community together. With that said, I'm gonna go finish my run, and then we'll get into the rest of this video and the specifics of what hybrid training is and how it differs from other training methods. Pushed it a little farther than 2 hours today to hit 12 miles. So it was a good run. I'm gonna go in, get some food, rehydrate, get some protein, and I'll see you guys for the rest of the video to go over to the hybrid training series and exactly what hybrid training is. Awesome, what's up guys? We are back, gotten some food and rehydrated, showered, changed, and we're back here to go over the rest of the hybrid training series and really give you an introduction of what hybrid training is. You might be wondering what this is behind me. If you know me in person, you know I love whiteboards, I love visuals, and so I really wanted to get a good visual. I'm gonna hang this up. So in the later videos, it should be hung up somewhere, but as for right now, this is where it's at. The red construction paper is just to keep things a little bit more engaging so that we can kind of go through things as I speak about them. So in order to kick off this series and talk about hybrid training and build a hybrid program, we have to really get an understanding of what hybrid is and what it isn't. So in order to understand what hybrid is, we're first gonna understand the traditional training methods, what those look like, and then we'll move over to hybrid. First, we have traditional training. Traditional training has a few different things that it can be. First, general traditional training method would be sport-specific training. So sport-specific training could look like a marathon runner who only runs or a powerlifter who only lifts. So some examples of this would be, a lot of people, they're like, I want to run a marathon, and so they just run through their training and they run the marathon, and they might do pretty well in their marathons, but all they do is run,
to train for their marathon. Same thing with a powerlifter. Powerlifter wants to compete in powerlifting meets, so they just come in and they lift every day. They don't do anything else. They don't do any cardio. They do nothing but lifting. This is going to be sport specific, so your sport is the only activity that you do. The second form of traditional training is going to be what's known as concurrent training. So concurrent just means at the same time. So anytime somebody says concurrently, that means you're doing things at the same time. So concurrent training in a traditional training manner could be, an example would be a marathon runner who lifts to improve their running form, their gait, reduce injuries. So all of their lifting is to improve their sport of running. So they run and they lift to improve their running. And that's the only reason they lift. They might enjoy it too, but the lifting program is geared towards their running performance specifically. Another example would be court and field athletes, so football players, basketball players, lacrosse players. These players, their sports are a combination of strength and conditioning. So when you think of traditional strength and conditioning in the gym, where you'd have a strength and conditioning coach working with an athlete, this is kind of what it's going to look like. So you're going to do a mix of practices, of conditioning, of skill work, and of strength. But all of that is for the purpose of improving your sport. So if you look at college football athletes, they do a lot of conditioning, they do a lot of strength work. It's all to improve their ability to play their sport or to, perform at the NFL Combine, if you know what that is. As a quick recap, sport specific is you're only performing your sport to train for your sport. So you're only running to train for your races, you're only lifting to train for your meets, etc. Concurrent training in a traditional model is you're performing multiple athletic disciplines in order to increase performance in a single sport or discipline. So our examples again were a marathon runner who is lifting to improve their running performance, or any court or field athlete who has to do multiple disciplines to improve their sport performance. Lastly, on concurrent training, I actually have a lot of athletes that come to me through onboarding or consult calls or message me that are interested in hybrid training. And through conversations, we find out that they're more interested in kind of a concurrent training model where they enjoy what they're doing. They want to strength train because they enjoy it, but they want everything to help their singular sport. And so while I do work with hybrid athletes, which we're going to get into, I work with a lot of concurrent athletes as well. And so if you're watching this and you're like, hey, will this series help me? The answer is unanimously yes. Next, we're going to come over here to hybrid training. So now that we understand the general traditional training methods, we're going to come over here to hybrid training. So the definition of hybrid training, as I've written it out, is concurrently training and progressing multiple disciplines that do not directly support each other. So again, concurrently means at the same time. So what this means is that you are training in multiple disciplines at the same time, concurrently, and progressing in those disciplines concurrently, and these disciplines do not inherently support each other. So what would some examples of hybrid training look like? I'm sure you've seen some online, but a few examples here are powerlifting and endurance running, or gaining muscle while training for an Ironman, et cetera, et cetera. There's a ton of examples. The general consensus is that you are training in multiple disciplines, making progress at the same time, and those disciplines are not necessarily enhancing each other. Whereas a lifting program for a marathon runner is enhancing their marathon times, and the lifting program is set up specifically to enhance their marathon performance, powerlifting and endurance running is going to look a lot differently. I'm currently training for a powerlifting meet and a 60K and then some other ultra marathons along with powerlifting meets, and my lifts look a lot different than they would look if they were set up solely for my running performance. I enjoy it and I am making progress in both disciplines, but the lifting is not necessarily directly translating to running. Being strong is helping me in my running and in my general health, but the program is not specifically designed for my running, if that makes sense. Same thing with gaining muscle while training for an Ironman. This is actually more difficult from a nutrition perspective because you have to eat a lot of food to train for an Ironman and you have to eat a lot of food to gain muscle. And so on top of the programming for this specific goal, your nutrition is going to have to be really dialed in order to gain muscle and do all of the training for an Ironman. But the general consensus is that the two disciplines are not supporting each other directly, but you're still training them. So that is hybrid training. And hopefully you have a good idea now of how hybrid training differs from traditional training. And so that leaves one big question, which is how, right? I just said that this is a difficult goal to train for, and really all hybrid goals seem very difficult and different compared to traditional training, which is what we're used to. So the question is, how do we build these programs? And that's what this series is designed to answer. So again, the point of the series is that you're gonna be able to watch every single video in order, and by the end of it, you're gonna have followed along with some of my training. We're gonna have gone over how to build a program, and then by the end of the series, you're gonna have everything you need to set up your own hybrid training for your own hybrid goals, whether it's gaining muscle while training for an Ironman, powerlifting and running a marathon, or simply being strong and liking the way you look while you run 5Ks, 10Ks, even 1 mile races, or any other hybrid goals that you can come up with. So I'm really excited about the rest of the series. These videos are gonna be epic. So if you want to know about them as soon as they come out, if you wanna subscribe and hit the notification bell, you'll get a notification the second the next video comes out. And if you like this video, if you like this series, if you could, hit the like button below, that lets me know you liked it, that lets YouTube know you liked it, and helps us spread the message to everybody else who is looking for the same information and might not necessarily have it or might not have the money to pay somebody else for it, because this is all gonna be laid out completely free for you guys. Lastly, thank you for hanging out to the end of this video. If you're interested in anything else hybrid training outside of the YouTube channel, definitely drop down in the description. I'm gonna have my mailing list link and some other links to my website, my Instagram, where I try to put out a ton of free information across the board to help you guys in your hybrid goals and your health goals. With that said, I'll see you guys in the next video on the hybrid training series.